Hey tribe, Dawna here from Transformational Healing, and today I wanted to talk to you about some of the books that are out there for beginners on the pagan path, and some of these are even great for intermediates or to reread and to start to begin and think about things perhaps a little differently. So, I wanted to start off by explaining that some of these books are specifically for Wicca, which is a religion within the pagan path. And some of them are more eclectic, or some might lean towards different types of spiritualities so that you can learn a little bit about each of them. So some of them you will find lots of overlap in, and other ones are very specific for a specific type of path. So the first book that I wanted to talk about is actually called A Witch's Bible. And it's by Janet and Stuart Farrar. And Stuart has since passed, but Janet is now with Gavin Bone, and they are still teaching. They are still traveling in the U.S. when that is allowed to have them come here and teach. And Janet is a wonderful soul. But this book is specifically about Wicca. But it is a great book. It has stuff in it about how to do circles, what the Sabbats are, and the wheels of the year. It has the Great Rite and initiation rites and all the different things that you would need to know if you decide that the religion of Wicca is a good path for you. So along those same lines, you will find a very popular book put out by Silver Ravenwolf. Now, Silver is also of the Wicca path, so you'll probably recognize To Ride a Silver Broomstick. She is also the author of Teen Witch. So these books are great introductions to Wicca, which is one of the paths along eclectic or pagan spirituality, along the earth spirituality paths. I have read all three of those, and I have enjoyed all three of them for learning exactly what Wicca is. Now, I personally do not follow that particular path, but I believe that they are good books for people who are drawn to that path. Another good book is The Spiral Dance, and this is by Starhawk. She has other books around as well, and The Spiral Dance seems to be more about, to me, the cosmology and the ideas behind paganism a little bit more in general. And she focuses a lot more on the goddess because in her tradition, the worship is more on the honoring the goddess side of paganism, which is good for a lot of people. This one happens to be a 10th anniversary, and I just saw here in the shop at Star and Splendor that actually the 20th anniversary edition has now come out. But this is one of my books that is actually going to be going up for sale at the end of the month. I have my own copy as well. So when you learn about paganism, you learn that there's all these different levels. So there's the general eclectic spirituality, or general paganism, general earth spirituality. And within that, there are different pantheons or different paths that people may take. And there's some debate over which paths should or should not be included in paganism. If you go by the exact definition, that would be any of the non-three major religions. So any religion that is not Muslim, Jewish, or Christian they would consider to be pagan. So that includes things like the Buddhists, and the Buddhists are like pagan, but and so are the natives. Like, pagan? No, that's a terminology we don't use, terminology we don't understand. So traditionally, that word pagan or heathen, for those that seem to be on the Celtic and Norse path, they prefer that word. basically means country folk. So it meant the people that lived in the country who had not already converted to one of those major Abrahamic religions. So along those lines, this book is called The Pagan Family, and my copy is a really old copy from when it originally came out by Kassir Sarith. This book is all about those Proto-Indo-European beliefs and how they all came to be. But it talks a lot about different things that you can do that are simple, that it's about the simple living of the earth spirituality paths, the simple way of being pagan, and how it can just be a way of life. It doesn't have to be a religion. It can just be how you live your life and how you help your family to grow up, how you help them to evolve and believe in things. And this really can help to create a family bond around general beliefs. So on the back of this, it says, learn the most effective ways to make your religion a daily part of your family bond. Discover how to engage your children in paganism through creative activities such as storytelling and mask making and drumming. And it has different ways of creating sacred space and things like that inside the book, and it is an awesome book in my opinion. But I know that it is currently out of print. There is perhaps a chance that maybe you may be able to find a used copy of that book. So talking about different rites and rituals and things that you can do, and along that line, this book, A Year of Ritual, is also filled with different ideas of how to celebrate either as a solitary person, meaning someone who celebrates by themselves, or perhaps with a coven. Now, I didn't go in depth because I really like Llewellyn's 8-part series on this, so I haven't really gone in depth on this, but I believe that it's more focused a little bit towards the Celtic line of spirituality from what I was able to come up with. But they have some really great ideas for you to look up about how to celebrate the cycles of the sun, which we call Sabbats, and how to those 8 Sabbats in the wheel of the year, because it goes around in a wheel and the sun goes around, and how to incorporate those into your practice. And I think that this is a pretty good book. I've skimmed through it, and everything that I saw in here I really do agree with very much. So now on to 2 books that are brand new that are recommended by Amy here at Star and Splendor, which is where I rent my space for my recording studio and do my healing treatments. Amy recommends these 2 newer books for paganism because they're evolving the way that we talk about eclectic spirituality and teach you how to incorporate the different types of ritual and the different types of elements into something that will work for you. So it teaches you all of the basics, and then it teaches you how to weave them into something that is going to work for you. So the first one on her list is called The Elemental Powers for Witches, and it's by Frater Barbaros. You can see it here. So she says that this is a really great book that talks about the elements and the world around us and how to incorporate that world into our spiritual beliefs and into our spiritual practices, and has all sorts of illustrations and diagrams and teaches you how to use like specialized ritual energy patterns that become effective. So how to work with the energies that are there and how all those energies work together so that you can create yourself a practice. And I think that that's beautiful. So the last book is by Laura Tempest Zarkoff, and it is called Weave the Liminal. So this book is all about what I was talking about weaving together the different parts of ritual, to create things that will empower and help you to really feel connected to those things that you're doing. So if you are more of an eclectic type person and you really want to learn about how to work with the earth, how to connect with the earth and pull those things in, how to use the energies and the power of the sun and the moon and the cycles, and really how to connect everything in and to make it so that it feels good to you, Laura's book is absolutely amazing for that. Amy could not recommend it more highly, and I guess that she will actually hopefully be coming back to do another talk here in the Capital District of New York sometime in the fall. But it's all about living modern traditional witchcraft. So it talks about all of the traditions and all of the things, but it helps to modernize them and helps you to create something authentic and something that really will work for you. So I think this is going to be a great book, and I think I'm probably going to grab it while I can. But that will give you a little bit of a difference between some of the books that are out there. The newer books that are out are the last couple that I talked about. Some of the older standard and steady books that are out there, like the Witch's Bible and Silver's book and Starhawk's book, they have lots of great information in them. So if you're new to the path and you know that you want to do a specific type of thing, then go for one of those specific types of books. But if you are looking to just find out what it's all about, I think this one is going to be really, really great for you. Or perhaps find one of those Wheel of the Year books that feels good to you. I know that this one is a little bit more on the Celtic slant, and if that's not for you, it's not, and it has formal rituals in it. But highly recommend that you look at where you get your knowledge. There are so many books out there that there were years and years where I was looking at the books that were coming out and I was not remotely interested in any of them because it all just seemed to be regurgitated things. These new books that are coming out are not regurgitated things. They are really new ideas about how to actually incorporate these things into your daily life. Stuff like what I put on the channel here. How to do things daily that put you in that point of mindfulness and paying attention to the world around you and actually being here in the world and experiencing the world. So if you'd like to see some other types of books that I have recommended recently, I will put up at the end of the channel. There's books on magical and medicinal herbs. I did a video for that. And another one on some of the books about shamanic techniques and shamanism practice. So there's tons of other videos on the channel all about paganism and coming back to balance and being mindful and how to use herbs to balance your physical and aromatherapy and mental thought to help balance out that mental emotional part and all of the spiritual things to help you stay connected in daily life. So many blessings, tribe, and I'll see you real soon.